Adrian Martenco on behalf of the Stewardship.
Good morning. My name is Adrian Martenco, for those of you who don't know me. I'm here on the second week of our stewardship program to talk about stewardship. I'm talking about mentor or teaching. When I think of teaching, I think of Jesus Christ. He was born, like our Apostle Creed says, he was born a child. He was raised by his mother and father, right? And he continued to be mentored by his parents. At the age of 12, he wandered around from his parents, and they found him at a temple, right? With the rabbis and the judges and everybody else learning and teaching. And his parents were so proud that he was able to have a conversation with these people at a good level in teaching and everything. He started his ministry at the age of 30. And through thousands of years, that's what we follow here today. I think about when I came to St. Paul's, my mentors, the Youngs, the Carpenters, the Litts, right? The Cranes, the Smiths, which are no longer around on Saints' days. I remember some of the ones that are gone here. They were here when I came. Who mentored my kids? Jeanette Richardson was a teacher at the time. Matt Seifel, Annie Flores, people that are not here, but they mentor my kids. And now you see my kids coming down and they teach it. So let's pass on. And I feel that St. Paul is when it comes to mentor, we all mentor down the line. And then now you see me here. When I first came, you would never see me talking here. Mr. Litz, remember I was a shaking guy and always only here talking to me about things and getting involved in the church. You need to do something. He put me in charge of collecting the books. And that was my job. Young fella, don't forget to pick up the books. And I used to pick up the red books and pile them up on the back. I started serving them. Then May Earl signed me to usher and greet. Well, what do I have to do? I was told I had to wear a suit. I told you guys the last time. But she said, no, you have to serve. So I served, you know. And now you see me here coming in as a stewardship, talking about stewardship. I had no idea about stewardship. I was born Christian Orthodox, and I went to the Catholic Church. And to me, a stewardship is write a check and throw it in a plate, right? So I come to the Lutheran Church to learn about stewardship. And Dana tells me, it's not about money, it's about what you can do for the church, right? And I was like, wow, makes sense. You know, I come in here and then I start serving. And I didn't want to serve. Then I got hurt. I was out for 2 years. And for 2 years, I did nothing but be in the church. And then my kids said, you don't know how to say no. You're always in church. You're always fixing things. You're forcing me to run wires. Raymond's phone went broke. And Raymond says, I don't have a phone. So I was like, AJ, use a shorter. Go underneath the clothes page. Let's run a wire for Raymond down. What do I have to say? I do that, he used to tell me. I said, because you're shorter, and I got to do it, so you're helping out. And they didn't understand any of that. The kids, I said, do more things in the church. Go to the hospital, volunteer, and be the pink stripers, my kids. And they fought with me and everything. College time came, guess what? They asked them, what have you done in your community? And the kids needed 2 or 3 pages to fill out pages. Why? Because the old bad wolf dad made them do too many things. Volunteer, right? Volunteer. No, oh, you know, the college wants me to volunteer. Oh, you know, I got a grant because, you know, I've done all these good things in it. I say, yeah, how do you feel about it? How did you mentor? And every day I come here, I look at my, the ministries that I'm involved. I look at the youth. Yes, I'm looking at you, Jay and Mary, right? Every month, these young fellas meet here at the celebration hall and they have fellowship, they share the things. I think Jake does probably a good amount of evangelism. He doesn't know. He brings all his friends here and tells them about St. Paul's, how great it is and everything. Mary brings all her friends. And like the other day, she was late and all her friends were already here. And when they come in, everybody screams, Mary! Right? And Mary says, how you doing? The party starts, I'm here, right? And I was like, wow. And then they were playing with, they were doing the river dance. And I was like, wow, there's a young girl that lives down here and comes in for Mary. And Mary's there. I'm like, Mary, you do that too? He goes, no, I'm learning. And she was learning from the other girl. And I was like, wow, that's great, you know. And then every time I got a question, I said, Mary, the other day I was doing my phone was screwed up. And I said, can you record that? And she did it. And I said, how'd you do that? And she told me, right? And I look at the young kids and I ask them questions about the electronic. I learned from them, you know. And I say, wow, everybody thinks, you know, we've got to be mentored by somebody else. We can be mentored by our young guys, you know. They should be more involved too, right? Jake is old enough now, he can do ushering, he can do greeting, he can do a lot of things. Our young fellas and everybody else. And then I think back about my mentor. My mentor was my short little grandma that used to come here. Many of you guys had the pleasure of meeting her, okay? I remember Manuela had a Mother's Day, and my grandmother pulled her hand up and said, I'm coming from Hackensack, New Jersey. And she was the farthest person that came that said Mother's Day. And Manuela said, gave her the big flower, and my grandmother lit up. And she was so happy. And she goes, look, Dad, everybody, all the grandkids, she was up here. And she used to come. And that was my biggest mentor. At the age of 7, my father was a police officer down in South America. He got killed on duty. And I was raised by, my mother was a very young woman. They married at 16 and 18. She took off. She couldn't handle 3 kids. And my grandmother raised me and raised my brother and sister. And that was my mentor. And guess what? I had to go to parochial school, right? And guess what? You guys think church is tough, and my kids think I'm a bad man because I'm bringing them to church. Church was every day. First period was every day, okay? I had to be an altar boy for so many hours. I had to serve in the church. And then it was church. And then it got to the point that, you know, you kind of wander away. And then I married a Lutheran that dragged me back into church. And she had to teach me what Lutheran is all about, right? And here I am learning still, you know, about stewardship and everything else. Yeah, and my wife said, the kids got to believe in something. They have to go to church. And there it was. Then I'm thinking of Mary. Probably that's what she did to Jesus. You got to go to Sunday school. And Jesus was the older son. She had an additional 4 kids and then 2 sisters, right? So Jesus was the mentor for his brothers and sisters. And he was probably the tushy, like Rachel is, right? Rachel is the tushy in the middle of the two. Our older daughter is the black sheep, they call her, not me, but they call her the black sheep. And then my Rachel reminds me, they goes, 1 out of 3, it's not bad, Daddy. You got some boogers out there, you know. And she preaches to me. It's great being like when they were little, you're teaching them. And as they get to be young adults and they're still hanging around. And I said, my son is 19 years old, right? And then my son says to me, Dad, you're a hypocrite. Why? Because you tell me I'm flying all the time, but you're always flying. And when you tell me stories, you used to get speeding tickets when you were my age. Right? He goes, and you're a hypocrite. I'm like, no, AJ, the reason I say that is because I want you to learn from my mistakes. You know? So, but sometimes our kids got to learn from their own mistakes too. So it's a point that you would do. But it's great sometimes to see, sit back and just listen and see how they mentor and everything else in here. St. Paul is a great mentor. Our big mentor is Pastor Harding. I know you now for about 12 years or so, right? So it's good, you got somebody. When I got a question, I go over there, and he helps me out here and there when it comes down to religion, because I'm not really a religious person, I don't think, anyway. They put me up here. Why? I teach. Most of you guys probably know I teach the driving training tractor-trailer program at Northampton Community College. You guys can think how challenged that can be. You're going out there, right? And you're dealing with a person you never met, and they got bad habits or whatever they have. They don't stop at stop signs. They want to roll a big 18-wheeler across the stop sign, right? Come on, it's 70 feet. You can't roll a stop sign. You can't. You got to do a full stop. Teaching them the yellow line means stop for the tractor trailer, because you can't go across the yellow line with a big tractor trailer. So they're like rushing. It's like I have to pull the trolley brake, which is a brake, so they stop. And on top of that, every morning, the one student of mine complained and says, "How come you pray so much?" I said, the kid goes, "Are you Muslim? Because you always pray." I'm like, "No, I'm Christian, but I got to be in touch with God every day." I pull my rosary and I said, "Give me 5 minutes and before we pull out." I said my 2 or 3 prayers, my Father, and I say, thank you, God. And then when I come back, I'm praying again, and he's like, "Why are you praying?" I'm like, "Because God let me come back in one piece, It's great. It's like, oh my God, it's like, you got to be in touch with God. You got to be able to say, hey, something's got to help me out there, you know. You get all kind of people, I mean, you know, stop sign, people cutting you off all day long. You got to be alert, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not you, it's whatever is around you, you know. All I can tell you is, you know, serve. It makes you feel better. Whether there's the Friday ladies over there, and yes, my glasses are at the bottom like this, right? And they come down, and all they do is smile and have fun all the time, right? Or it's the kids serving out here, or the choir singing for us, giving us the glory of God, right? Yeah, and I record it and I listen to it. And you got Charles here. If you come early in the morning, you'll hear Charles mentoring these people to praise. Like, and we kid around and we said they don't have any soul, they can't move, right? And he's trying hard. You can see him and moving around and everything, and they do a great job. I don't know if they know that they get recorded and everybody hears them and compliments come in every time, right? And you guys do a great job. Charles does a great job. He's falling asleep now, but and then pastor comes out here and talks to us every day and mentors us. And sometimes, yes, I said to him, yo, you were boring today, right? You circle too much. And he tells me, the reason is because you're not standing here and watching the agents fall asleep over there, right? Or this one is over here leaning it. They just don't get it, you know? They just don't get it, and I got to keep repeating and make sure it sinks up there, you know? And sometimes he goes 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and I have to adjust it. Or he throws a big word up there that you say, bleep, right? And sometimes that big word is the one that everybody gets right away, though, you know? And the first thing I hear is, did you get that word? I'm like, yeah, I got it. Okay? But we do learn from each other. And continue mentoring our young kids, our older kids, and everybody out here. We all need mentoring every day. And we always need to be out there helping people. And please help us with our committees, our commitments, everything that we need out here. Okay? Recently, somebody said to me there's a problem with the reports. It says 15,000 is assigned to the city. That is not true. It's an error on that situation where they put pantry and everything else, and it's showing that we're giving the city $15,000. That is not true. Okay, we committed to 7,000 and change. That's what they get. It's just an error on that. Okay, so we are, you know, whether you can help out with the youth, with the choir, with the food pantry, and all our committees are here. We'll be having a list of committees. If you need to help, if you can help out, join the committees. Help us out. Stewardship has just lost a member, so if anybody's interested in doing temple talk and talking to our congregation and sharing stories. Our cynic is a lot into stories. I talked to the bishop. He says, when you talk to the people, talk to them about a story, like whether it's Jesus' story, your story, or even your church story. I think we have a lot of stories in this church and a lot of people that can help out. Thank you for listening to me. God bless you. And thank you.